It is Vermont, where the AT and the Long Trail merge for a good portion of Vermont. So right now I am walking in Vermont. All right.
This is what it's like walking in a thunderstorm. I'm at the top of a hill, or getting close, and I didn't make it over the other side before this thunderstorm came, so I'm literally taking a shower in the storm. Just gotta be careful with these wet rocks because well, and mud. Where am I gonna step now? Ugh. So anyway, this is my shower for the night. I hope it doesn't hail. So I'm soaked, but I'm good. I'm still warm. As long as I'm walking, I'm warm. And it's part of backpacking. What can I say? So here's another beaver pond. And this is what we gotta walk on here. To get by this beaver pond. They haven't trimmed any of this, so I'm soaked anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but whoa, that is scary. A beautiful beaver pond. And look at that, the sun's coming out. So it stopped raining and hopefully it's gonna clear up. That would be wonderful. So I can set my tent up and dry out. Boy, that was some storm in the beginning, and it's just been a constant medium rain for about the last hour or hour and a half. So anyway, this is a beautiful little lake, and out there is my first moose. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll raise it up. That's the moose out there in the middle of that little grassy area. After walking in the pouring rain, I got to see a moose. It's worth it. And I gotta get to the shelter and hope it stops long enough to put my tent up. It's July 18th, Thursday. And after that walk through the rain all day yesterday, it's not really clear. Hopefully it's not going to rain again. But everything's really wet and damp. My tent's semi-dry. And I was going to put on my dryer t-shirt that was used, that I didn't like yesterday because it smelled, but I took it out of a little plastic bag and oh, it smelled like ammonia a little bit, so I said forget this. Putting it in a plastic bag was not a good idea. I'll just hang it on my pack and let it air out. So everything that was wet is wet. Shoes are wet, socks are wet, pants are wet, shirt's wet. And I'm just packing up now. The tent's somewhat dry, so that's good. That stuff's dry, but everything else was wet. My pajamas and sleeping clothes, they're dry, so at least some things are dry because they're in that contractor's garbage bag in my pack to keep it totally dry. So it's time for me to head back up to the shelter, which is about 100 yards that way, and off I go. Hopefully the sun will come out and I can dry things out. Here at Glenberry's, or whatever the name is of this fire tower. I was in here once before with my son a long time ago, but it's all foggy, but it's pretty cool up here. And I'm up here with Buckeye and Free, which Free I haven't seen for a while, so this is really great. Oh,
Glastonbury?
Yeah, Glastonbury shelter, whatever. That's what we've decided it is. So it's not too windy up here, it's not too cold, but it's really cool. It's kind of eerie. They can see the tops of the trees. Oh wow, it got foggier over there.
Yeah.
Wow, it's coming in more dense now. You can barely see the tops of the trees. And then we can look down, and that's my backpack down there. So anyway, a little stop on our way in Vermont. Well, yesterday I walked through a thunderstorm which soaked everything, me and most things. Fortunately, my tent's not too wet today. Today is the 18th, the next day. Cloudy all day, nothing really dried out. And then like 15 minutes before I got to the shelter that we're gonna stop at, got hit by a shower. So that just made things wet. I had to set up and things were dripping, so nothing dried out. My tent stinks real bad, mostly because my socks are hanging, as you can see, to try and dry them a little bit. So and nothing you can do about it. But I made a reservation for Manchester at the Green Mountain House, which is somebody's house they use as a hostel. So I can do laundry, which means I'm gonna have to clean everything. And I think I'm going to buy some Lysol sanitizer for the laundry, just to really kill the bugs that are growing in my clothes right now. At least my pajamas are dry, so I have something dry to sleep in. So I'll just be dry and smell a lot. Anyway, I mean, that's part of the deal here. Anyway, as soon as I set my tent up, and I thought I was getting everything set, we see the sun come out in the horizon, and right now the sky is completely clear. So maybe if I would have waited another hour, I could have set my tent up without it getting wet. Anyway, again, that comes with the deal. Well, time to go to bed. Today's July 19th, and we're up in the Stratton Mountain Tower. And it's quite a view up here. The clouds just blew over, so that there's no longer fog here. And we just got the ability to see a view, which I'll show you. So this is V to the east. And there's Stratton Mountain ski lift to the top. North. And now to the west, where there's still a lot of clouds coming over. But it's supposed to be mostly sunny today. So we're just drying our tents out downstairs, hanging them on this tower. It is Monday, the 21st of July, and I just climbed up to Bromley Mountain, which is where the ski resort is. And you can see that I'm on one of the ski slopes. And there's one of the water spigots for when they make snow and that. So I have to walk about 3/10 of a mile to the actual top where the ski lift comes up. It's a pretty nice day. Yesterday was really hot, but today is supposed to be cooler. It was was like maybe 91, 92. Today it's supposed to be like maybe 87, but up on the mountain here with the breeze, it's really nice. So the hostel we stayed in yesterday was really great. It's like one of those houses where you're in the room. I shared it with 3 guys, but they're regular beds, and you felt like you're in your own home. There's a kitchen, and they gave you the first soda for free. The second one was 50 cents each. Then they gave you Haagen-Dazs pints. First one was $1. Then every one thereafter was $5. So if you had 2, it was like $2.50 each. So I had my first one, and they had a living room. We watched a movie last night, so it was really nice. And we got out. I was on the trail by 8 o'clock, which wasn't too bad. And everything's completely dry. I had to wash my clothes twice because the first time didn't get all the stink out. And it was good. So I have to make hopefully around 18 to 20 today. And I resupplied some to last for 3 days because my wife Marianne's going to meet me on Wednesday. So it's a little heavier, but not as heavy as North Adams when I resupplied there. And see how far I get. Alright, now I'm at the top of Bromley, and it's really windy, so I gotta talk loud. But I will show you some of the ski stuff around me, and you can see Stratton Mountain ski slopes over to the, I guess, south a little bit. So there's the Stratton ski mountain. If you look between the ski lift here and the mountain past it, you can see all the trails up there. And it's really windy now, so it means it's weather change, but it's supposed to be cooler the next days, which is going to be great for hiking in the 70s. I would like it even a little cooler. But these are all the ski slopes around here. AT goes past that cement thing. And that's the warming shack that they will let you sleep overnight in if you need to. But you're not allowed to camp up here with your tents. And here's the Bromley Ski Slopes. That's kind of cool. So now it's just a matter of going off the mountain. This is Baker's Peak, and it's a nice rock climb coming up here, but not too bad. But you can see some nice Vermont mountains and everything around, and these stinking green horseflies are biting. It's annoying me, even though the wind's blowing hard. Anyway, I'll show you. We had to climb up these rocks down there pretty far. Wow, this flies all over the place. And that's a nice big mountain that's right across from us. We were up those mountains somewhere, but I can't remember where. The last big one, I guess, is Bromley. And I think we came from over in that direction, which you can't really see. But there are some big, got him. I got the horse slide. Big mountains over here, really pretty. And gotta go over the peak, and then it's mostly downhill to a shelter that's in about 8 miles. That's my target. Here's a beautiful bridge with a nice rocky stream, very clear water. Wow. Probably a nice little swimming hole here too. And these horseflies are just a pain in the go on land.
shelter I was thinking of stopping at is at this lake. It's a really beautiful lake. But they charge you to stay at the campsite, so I'm not paying. Imagine if I had to pay every time I camped all through the AT. And the flies and that are really bad, so I'm gonna move on about another mile or so. I've already done almost 20. So there's a water source in about a mile, 0.3 or 4. I'm heading for that.
Yes, this is a screen on my head. The bugs are bothering me, but I lifted it up so you could see me. The reason I'm talking now is most people, when they say they stealth camp, they walk along the trail till they find this little place where somebody's already set up a tent or had it in the past, and it's nice and cleared and it's nice and open and everything like that. That's not really stealth camping. That's just kind of looking for a camp site that somebody else has used. This is stealth camping. I'm going to show you.
The trail is about, I don't know, 75 feet that way. You can't see it just by looking over there, but it's about 75 feet that way. And basically what I did was I surveyed the area as I was walking along. It's fairly flat here. No one's ever camped here as far as I know. And you just find a little place where the ground's kind of flat. Just pull the sticks away a little bit and leave the leaves there, because the leaves are insulation. They make it soft. And also if it rains, the rain will hit the leaves and not splash dirt up onto your tent. It'll be fairly clean if it does rain. This is a stealth spot. You know, you haven't really disturbed the vegetation. You just kind of moved things out of the way. And when you leave, for the most part, no one's really going to know that you were ever here, other than that the leaves are a little bit flat. So when somebody says they stealth camped, this is really what they would be talking about if they really did stealth camp. Not find a little site near a water source or a bridge or something that somebody else already cleared out for them. I found a way to keep my fanny pack from getting wet from sweat. I took a Ziploc, gallon Ziploc, and I put holes in it where the straps come through, right there. So on both sides, so now I can still go around me. And if it rains, I can ziplock the top here. And yes, there's holes here, but I put a little hole in the bottom there, just in case water did get in. But now, as my shirt gets sweaty here, it would just saturate my fanny pack, and then my fanny pack would smell like everything else smells, and you don't really wash the fanny pack too often. So now, with this, it didn't get wet at all day, even though I was sweating. So that's my new little, what do you call them? I don't know. People have names for these little things that they figure out how to do. Anyway, I thought I'd show that. It's July 22nd, and we're supposed to have a 50% chance of rain around 11. So it's about 7:45 right now. I'm on my way. Been walking. Had a good night in the stealth site, but the water was at iced tea water, as I call it. That's the yellowish brown amber water from the tannins in the trees in the stream. So as soon as I find a nice clear stream, I'm going to dump out what I have if I haven't drank it. Anyway, walking along here in this conifer forest right now. There's a cool thing that we just came upon. There's a rock garden right here. It's really cool. And I think it's time for me to place a rock. So I think right here would be a good place to put a, no, maybe not. That's good. So there's my rock on top. It's pretty cool. And a 1/4 mile down the trail, there's even a bigger rock garden. So, where am I going to put a rock this time? I'll put my rock right there. So that's my rock on top. Here's a neat suspension bridge that I have to cross now. A little bit wet here, but quite bouncy too, and that's what we got down here. Pretty down that way, and I guess during the spring it's pretty high, and that's why those logs are there. But this is neat. Things you have to be most cautious is climbing wet rocks in the rain. This isn't even the steepest part, but these wet rocks, boy, one wrong step on this wet moss, and you can seriously hurt yourself. Going down's always harder. Fortunately, I'm going up, but went down the other side. This is tough. Okay, we got 500 miles left. 500 miles to Killington. Wow, we're almost up to 1,700 miles, just shy of it, maybe 8 miles shy of it. 500 miles left to Killington. It seems like it's getting smaller and smaller. Wow, this is like hiking from the beginning to the Damascus. So I am psyched. We are getting there, and getting there fast.
It's Tuesday the 23rd, and it rained all night, all day yesterday. So I set up my tent. I thought it was supposed to stop raining yesterday night, last night I mean, and it didn't. Now somebody just told me it's supposed to stop by 9 this morning, and it's about 8:45. Real late start today. I got up when I heard the rain, my normal time around 5:30-ish, and I just didn't want to get up. It was real slow going. I got a lot of chafing type rashes that I have to put baby, like diaper rash type stuff on, because my clothes are wet all the time, and it's like my clothes are starting to smell like ammonia all the time from the sweat and everything. And so this morning I just took my water bottle and rinsed them out, just poured water on them and then squeezed them out a few times to get some of the smell out and stuff and sweat. And just took a real long time to get everything put together, and everything's wet except for my one dry bag, my blanket, and my puffy coat. Everything else is soaked, and that's what I keep in my inner contractor bag to make sure it doesn't get any rain on it. But my clothes are all soaked that I'm wearing. It was cold putting those on, that's for sure. And now I'm climbing over Killington Peak today. I got to go about 16, 17 miles. If I'm able to climb the last, there's one last climb after that, it would make it easier for tomorrow, because Mary Ann's supposed to meet me at Route 12 tomorrow, which tomorrow will be an 18-mile walk. If I can do an extra 4 miles today over that one climb, that would just make it easier tomorrow. But with all this rain and wet, I don't know. See what I can do. If the sun comes out, that'll help so much. If I can dry some of this stuff out. Because my tent is a little wet. My canopy is very wet. So if I can't dry it out, I may try to stay in the shelter this time instead of outside the shelter. Anyway, that's today, and we'll see what happens. This is going up Mount Killington, and we're about the top 3/4 of the way up, and a lot of conifers, a lot of roots, rocks. The roots are the worst, and they're really slippery. You gotta step over them, and there's puddles in between them. But at least it's not raining. The sky's getting a little brighter, and I'm damp, but I'm not saturated. I'm following Rat Tail's footprints. He left about 15 minutes before me. I can see his footprints and his dog's footprints. Well, I'm almost to the top of this peak. It's part of Killington Mountain. That's Killington Peak over there. And you can see the lodge to the right, where the ski lift probably goes to, and then you can see the tower up there. In fact, I think the gondola goes up to that tower up there, and you can eat over there. It's about a half-a-mile trail from the shelter I'm going to be at soon to there. It's open till 5, but I'm not going to do that. It's quite windy, and the front's coming through, not raining. So sun should be out in another half hour or so. But yeah, it's pretty cold. Especially up here, we're almost at 3,900 feet. And Killington Peak is probably just over 4,000. Anyway, so I have a little bit more to go. And then I'll start going down the other side. Well, I got on the blue trail by mistake off the AT coming down from the Killington Lodge, and I thought it was the blue trail that came out by the pub, which is a little bit above on Route 4, and it's actually the old AT before they changed it to where it is now, and it wasn't. So instead of being above it, it went below it, and by the time I came out to where there was a sign that told me what trail it was, I had already walked almost 3 miles downhill, big downhill, and you can see I'm walking a road right now, and this road leads out to Route 4 below the AT, so I got to walk about 3 miles to the road, Route 4, then I have to walk about maybe 2.5 miles up Route 4 to the trailhead before I'm back on the AT. So I'm hoping a car will come along and I can hitch. But if not, I'm stuck walking the road because I made a wrong turn and I was too lazy to go back when I realized I was on the blue trail. So I thought it was a different one. Anyway, it's I guess par for the course. Can't be lazy.